This is Ben Shalom and you're watching Sporting Icons.
Okay, so as per yesterday's video where it was rumoured that Josie Parker and Joyce had agreed to fight on September the 24th, well now it is official. They've had a press conference for those of you who don't know. Now, firstly, it is going to be on September 24th and it will be in Manchester, the Manchester Arena, and it will be on BT Sport box office pay-per-view. Now, is this a pay-per-view worthy? Well, as I say about any pay-per-view, that's your money, you decide. Okay? Now, the one thing that I really want to talk about in this video is, firstly, well done to Josie Parker and Joyce. They agreed to have a fight. And it goes to show that both Frank Warren and Ben Shalom can sit at the same table, they can talk, and they can put on fights together. And this is what's happened here. For those of you who don't know, Josie Parker, he recently signed up with Boxer and Sky Sports. Of course, that annoyed Frank Warren, Queensbury, because obviously they wanted to make the Joyce fight, but didn't want any involvement from any other promoter. Obviously, at that particular time, Josie Parker was a free agent, but instead he went over to join Ben Shalom, Boxer and Sky Sports. Ben Shalom and Frank Warren quite clearly doing what it is that us boxing fans really, really want, which is putting on fights together. A broadcaster should never get in the way. They should never get in the way. Of course, a promoter's job is to put on the biggest and best fights for their particular platform, i.e. Ben Shalom. Boxer will be Sky Sports, Frank Warren, Queensbury will be BT Sport. So obviously there's always going to be loggerheads. Now, hopefully going forward, what this does is shows that promoters can work together, and hopefully they work together more and more often. That's what we want. So we have to give massive praise to both Frank Warren and Ben Shalom, Queensbury and Boxer for actually collabing, working together. And it's a risk for both of these fighters. It is a huge, huge risk because obviously Josie Parker has literally just joined over with Sky Sports Boxer. The last thing in the world that Ben Shalom and that wants is for their new prize asset, one of their prize assets, to take an L on their first fight. They don't want that. Okay. Likewise, Frank Warren, Queensbury, BT Sport, Joyce is in prime position for a WBO world heavyweight title shot. He's a WBO mandatory. So risking it against Josie Parker, again, shows huge, huge props. So obviously Frank Warren has a lot of confidence in Joyce. Ben Shalom has a lot of confidence in Josie Parker. Now, quite what the involvement of Sky Sports is going to be, I don't know. Maybe they can do what they've done with the Fury and Dillian White fight, where it will obviously be a BT Sport box office, but you can order it through the Sky Sports platform. So maybe they can do it that way, which would be fantastic. But hopefully they put on an undercard that is going to be, even just a couple of fights would be great. Queensbury versus Boxer, Boxer versus Queensbury, however. Okay? Hopefully that's what they do, and hopefully that's what they do going forward as well. And it will show the likes of Eddie Hearn, this is what you need to do. Now, Eddie Hearn, of course, he will look at that and go, yeah, but I don't need them. They need me. No, actually, you need them. Because, let's be honest, the Matchroom and his own boxing platform, it's not as what it once was. It isn't. Okay, so working together is not only good for their own platforms, their own production, their own promotional company, if you like, but it's good for boxing fans. That's what boxing fans want. I think Eddie Hearn has to realise that sometimes, that it's what boxing fans want. They want the promoters to work together. That's what they want. It doesn't have to be a constant war. It doesn't always have to be bickering between each other. It doesn't have to be who's pissing in the wind in the right direction. It doesn't have to be anything like that. Just put on fights. Put on fights. Work together. There's no reason in the world why fights can't be put on together. And I think Frank Warren and Ben Shalom have shown exactly that. And this is what I've wanted. This is what many of you have wanted. And hopefully it will be the first of many. What we don't want is for the headline to happen. Nothing happen on the undercard between the two platforms, the two promotional companies, and no fights going forward. We don't want that. Okay, this needs to be the first of many. So, you know what? Yeah, well done to Frank. Well done to Ben. Proud of you both. This is exactly what boxing fans want. And this is what gets boxing fans on side. Now, as far as the fight is concerned, as I said before, Ben Shalom is going to be very confident in Josie Parker because he won't want him to take an L. He won't. Not under his first fight under a Boxer Sky Sports contract. He won't want that. Likewise with Frank Warren, he's risking Joyce. He doesn't have to risk Joe Joyce. He can continue putting him in there with the Christian Hammers of the world. He could. And would boxing fans be upset about that? Yeah, of course it would. But this is what happens in boxing. How many fighters have got their position and just sat on the position? It happens time and time again. So, again, well done to Frank Warren for risking him. And likewise, I heard Frank Warren speaking earlier on today that he'd quite like to risk Daniel Dubois as well against Dillian Whyte. And that is a risk for Daniel Dubois. So Frank Warren is willing to risk his fighters. Ben Shalom is willing to risk his fighters. Eddie Hearn, is he willing to risk his fighters? Well, he has done. Of course he has done. But he's usually risked his fighters against big-name fighters like a Canelo before Canelo actually officially joined Matchroom and DAZN. But anyway, that's it. That's another subject. So well done to Frank Warren. Well done to Ben Shalom. September the 24th, the Manchester Arena. Joe Joyce versus Joseph Parker. BT Sport, pay-per-view. Box office. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.